And this is going to be our rectification meeting for Sadie.
Yes.
And should I share my screen, or do you want to share your screen?
I can't share mine because I'm on my phone, but I have two monitors in front of me with it pulled up, so we can share or not. It might even be okay if we don't, as long as, well.
It might be better. Let me share my screen so that
Yeah.
anybody watching this video can see what's happening.
Right, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
And it might not be any better for you or me, because you're not going to look at it, and I'm going to be able to see what I can see. But for somebody who's watching,
Yeah, right.
so I will share my screen. And can you see my screen? I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
But,
I can.
so it looks like we have day 2. Number 1 is okay. Number 2, we've got quite a few disagreements about.
Yes.
And you are...
I'm the first 2 digits behind the 9, and then you are the last 4 digits. They're both.
So in unsymbolized thinking, I say yes and you say no, is what.
Yep, and I missed it. It's clearly there, and we have it in the green, so I just missed that.
Okay. So this should be a 1.
Yes.
And then any word form present, I say yes and you say
Nothing.
no.
Okay, so we decided that it might have been. Oh yeah, it's inner speaking, so it should be. That's my fault. Yep, it should be a word form. And then I called it word by word. I gave it a 0.5 for word by word, meaning a single word present. Which I still think I stand by here.
And before I forget it here, is this cell correct? Sample 2, number 3, the next sample, and the unsymbolized thinking should be blank?
That's right, yep.
Okay. I think I just clobbered that, but I think I put it back. All right, so you think that number 2, day 2, number 2 is half a word by word. I think we're going to I think there's some stuff about this that's just going to be.
Yeah, messy.
So it is present. Maybe Sadie is overemphasizing it. Seems like 0.5 is a good deal for that. I should probably have done that. So this cell should be 0.5.
Yep.
And then saying to myself, I say yes, you say no.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that now. I had sort of created that category to capture the times when she has words present and they had a kind of communicative quality, like I am directing myself. Not so much for like inner speech, which is certainly innerly saying, but like this is just, she's like, having a dialogue. So I see that as more typical inner speech. I meant the saying to myself as when there are words, but they are not spoken, but they have a communicative quality.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So I would say no to this one, but I wasn't clear.
So I'm happy to say no to this one. If you're going to write the first draft, then you're going to characterize these things the way you think they ought to be characterized.
Right. Okay.
So that's it for day 2, or sample 2?
Yep.
And then in sample 3, I say there are words present.
Yep, and you're right. She's innerly speaking, so I missed that again. That should be a 1. It is a sort of dilemma about these day 2 inner speaking examples because I don't really believe them anymore.
Right.
As inner speech, but oh well. there's only going to be 2 or 3 of them. So.
Right. I think, I think in the general way science, psychological science works, that would be a big deal, but for us it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not really counters. If you were into counting, then that would be a disturbing thing. But if you're into describing a phenomenon, then I think it doesn't much matter.
Exactly. Right.
All right, number 4, I say letter by letter.
Yeah, this one's funky because it's a sound portion of the word, and I just failed to make a category for that. But I added one at the very end. You can see I added 3 things, and one is sound chunk, which I think is what this should be. There's a couple where it's not so much the letter as it is the sound.
Okay, fair enough. I'm happy with that. So we'll make this a 1.
Yeah.
And we'll make this a blank.
Right.
Okay. And then we have type 2 or whatever of.
Yeah. I think these are going to be fraught as well. But yeah, I gave it a 0.5 and you gave it a 1 for type 2. I'd be fine with either because I think in the end we're just going to have to describe the spectrum, and it's not so much going to be about how many were a type 2. You know?
I agree with that. So shall we do it 0.5?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like I put a lot of them as 0.5, so we might just kind of have to stick with that.
Okay.
You know, actually, maybe we should do a 1. Because if we do a bunch of 0.5s, you know, it's going to add up to 2 or something. And then, but really that's going to be 4 experiences that we thought were type 2-ish. And really maybe that's what we want to be capturing is 4 experiences that we thought were type 2-ish. You know what I mean?
So make this a 1?
So I think, yeah, I think we give it a 1.
All right. Number 5, words while reading. I say yes. They're really letters.
Yeah. We caught that. We got letter by letter. I'm guessing she's reading, but do we say that?
She's typing it into her phone.
Oh. Oh, yes. So it should be words while typing, which is another, and one next door.
So it should be a 1 here. Oh, man. So what happened in cell in the type 2?
For which sample? 2.5?
2.5. What
There should be nothing in type 2. Should be blank.
All right. So this should be a 1, words while typing, and this should be a blank.
Reading should be blank. Yeah.
And then there was a comment in type 5. Somebody said something in type 5.
Yeah. It looks like you said, is unsymbolized thinking an instance of type 5?
Yeah. Is every unsymbolized thinking a type 5 thought?
Can you remind me what type 5, what are the, latitude and longitude of that? The content is present and it's directly experienced? Oh, there we go. The experience of thinking, a directly apprehended. Oh yeah, that's a non-symbolized thought.
So every unsymbolized thought is the experience of directly thinking and the thought content. So it seems like every you should be a type 5.
Yes.
Not necessarily the other way around. Every type 5 does not necessarily be a you because there could be a sensory awareness or something. But every you should be a type 5.
Yeah, so that's this one and B2. Yes, 2.2 should also have a 1 there.
So 2.2, yeah, this should be a 1. And this should be a 1. 2.5 should be a 1.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm buying it.
Good. 2.6,
And
we're good.
And 2.6 is okay.
Yep.
And then on to 3.1, I say type 2 and you say half a type 2. And
Yeah, I think that's the same dilemma where we're going to go with a 1 just to make sure it gets captured.
And the same here probably.
Yeah.
And for beep 2.
Yeah.
And then also in beep 2, you say it's words while reading, and I say there's a word present.
Oh, yeah, so one of us just, so I missed the word present, and it looks like you missed the word reading, the while reading.
You confident about that?
She's rereading. Yeah, she's rereading what she had typed, so yeah.
All right. So these should both be 1s.
Yes.
And then on to number 3. It looks like it's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
I say,
really
I say any word and you say words while reading.
Yep.
And is that really what happened? She
yeah,
is
both
reading.
are true, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, give us credit for being
Visually
consistent.
I know. We cover each other's blind spots.
That is why we have more than one of us.
Yep.
Or one of the reasons why we have more than one of them. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4 seems to be okay. Number 5 seems to be okay. Day 4 then. You say words while typing.
We do say that she's at her computer writing and that her finger is like poised to hit the I, which is the letter that's present to her. So, you know, it's broadly within the process of typing. She's about to type it.
Yeah, it seems fair enough.
Yeah, I would count that.
And then this is going to be another thinking
Yep.
word too that we're going to make a 1 out of.
Exactly, yeah.
So this we decide is a 1.
Yeah.
And this we decide is a 1 as well. And then we apparently don't agree about anything for number 2.
Mm-hmm. So it's a letter. I do think, okay, hold on. Sensory awareness. Did I miss that? Yes, I missed the sensory awareness. That should be a 1. I missed it totally. I didn't even give it 1 for visual. Okay.
All right, so it is sensory awareness. Oh man. So what happens? What should be in this row, the type 2 column?
Yeah. In type 2, it should be 9001010. So you said 1, I said nothing.
And are we going to make it a 1?
I think so. I feel like I might have like missed this one or something. I mean, it's bizarre. I didn't get any of it. Like, I guess I got some of it. Anyways, I don't know. Yes, it should be a 1.
All right, and sensory awareness should be a 1.
Yes. And
letter by letter.
Yeah, this is another one, like, I created a word chunk column at the end,
Yeah.
and I put it there because it's N''T, not just the N. Maybe that's a little bit of splitting hairs, but
Is this a sound that she's?
I know we're not clear about that. I don't think so. I think we would have said that, but I can't be sure. We really don't say. We say this word.
It looks like we think it's part of the word. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
So
I would vote for it.
I'm going to buy a word
my
chunk.
word chunk. Yeah.
And I'm going to blank out letter by letter.
Yes.
And then words while typing. That is words while typing.
Yeah.
And sensory awareness visual it is.
Yes.
And on the spectrum, anytime we get one of these things, we got one of these things.
Right.
So this should be a 1.
Should be on the spectrum. Yeah. And then we called it the type 2. Yeah.
And then discrepant from reality. Oh,
that's, yeah.
She was sort of making up the screen thing.
Yep, I agree with that. We don't have a creative category, so
That's
good.
what I interpret this.
Yeah.
All right, and that does it for number 2.
Mm-hmm.
For number 3, we have a pure nothing category where you say halfway and I say all the way.
Yeah, let's just give that a 1, kind of same as the type 2 category.
Okay. Oh man, what should be in? I know so
I'm doing that on my end too. I don't know why. Which sample are you on? I see the column.
Beat 3, 4.3, discrepant from reality.
Yeah,
that should be a 1.
From reality should
should
no,
be
actually it should be
blank.
Yeah. Yeah, blank. Discrepant from reality.
And then this we've decided should be a 1.
On 4.3? Yes, yep.
Okay, on to number 4. So sensory awareness, I say half a sensory awareness.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is a kind of a weird one, but I think that captures it a little bit in that direction.
Yeah, it wasn't so weird when I agree.
Yeah. And then I put it in the emphasis on directionality and location category too, which I'm guessing you just missed because
I missed
there's
that.
only 2 samples. Yeah.
All right, then number 5, I say is letter by letter, and you say sound chunk. So sound
I think it should be sound. Yeah, yeah. God, it keeps happening to me too.
Yeah, what happens there is that if you click in a cell, and then Excel thinks that you're making a reference to another cell.
Right.
But what exactly the keystroke sequence has to be to make that happen, I'm not 100% sure. Excel is pretty finicky about that.
More today. Yeah, it is. It really is.
All right, so number 6, I say letter by letter, you say word chunk, and I say words by reading. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're right about reading. It is
right.
about reading.
And we're going to give you word chunk.
Yeah, I think it's chunk, yeah.
So this is going to be blank. This is going to be 1. And this is going to be 1.
Yes.
And then we're good for 5.1.
Yep.
And in 5.2, I say type 1 and you say half a type 1. And you say not 100%. And I didn't quite understand that category, so whatever you want to say about that one is fine with me. We'll work it out in the description.
Okay, so I think it should be a 1 for type 1. And I don't know if that not 100% category is even going to be useful. This looks like the only one where I even marked it. So let's just read out that column. Or even delete it. Well, that might throw off the formulas or whatever, so let's not do that. But yeah, we don't need that one.
And what do you want me to do here? Make it a 1?
You can, well, yeah, whatever. 1 or blanket, doesn't matter. I'm not going to use it. So, but type 1 should be a 1, yes.
All right. Then we agree about number 3. And we agree about number 4. Or at 6.1. We agree about 6.1.
Yeah. And
6.2, one of us had something to say about I sing.
You said it's really inner hearing of singing. True.
And is that right?
Yes, and I remember this one. So, okay, it's 6.2. Right, she's innerly hearing, and it's in her voice. So actually, should this just be inner hearing of music and not inner singing? It's her voice, but her experiences of hearing.
That's what I think.
Okay, so a blank in the sing. Okay.
So this should be a blank. And then do we have inner hearing?
Yep, we both got that.
Okay. Then 3's okay, 4's okay, 5's okay, and 6 is a dilemma between type 1 and type 2.
Big sense of thinking that is just one notch above nothing, as in 6.4. What did 6.4, we gave it a 0.5 for type 1 and a 0.5 for type 2, so
All right, let's do
somewhere
that.
right in the middle of those, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Looks like we agree on all of day 7. Oh no, 7.5.
I say it's unsymbolized thinking and you don't.
Right. Let's see, 7. Oh yeah, type 5, so let's see. An unworded sense of thinking, many ideas, cognitive ideas not in words. Yeah, that's an unsymbolized thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting that we didn't say that.
I know. We're like too stuck on that spectrum.
I think that's right. So I think we should call this an unsymbolized thinking.
Yep.
Eight 8.1's okay, 8.2's okay. Then we've got some problems with number 3. Number 3, I say it's nothing, and you say it's waiting. So you made a new category.
I did. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with those. There ended up being a couple of these blank waitings, and I couldn't remember what we thought those were in terms of the nothingness. I think you're right. I should put on the spectrum. But yeah, I don't, because we just started saying blank. We stopped using the type language.
So type 1 is no degree of apprehension and no content.
Right.
Type 2 is waiting for something, the experience of waiting for something.
Mm.
So
Okay. She
even though there's
experiences an expectant / waiting nothingness, perhaps which will be filled with some feeling of familiarity. So I think that sounds like a type 2. She experiences the waiting.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So a 1 for spectrum and a 1 for type 2. And maybe also a 1 for waiting.
I think I went back and watched this one again. What number are we looking at?
8.3.
So this is the one where she's trying to make a distinction between this and number 1, 8.1.
Yeah.
So what does this mean? At the green meeting, we think the difference is between 8.1
Is
and
just
8.
blank, not waiting, and 8.3 is blank and waiting. So the waiting
So
is experienced in 8.3.
So experience, then this should be a type 2.
Yeah, right. Whereas a type 1 was whereas 8.1 was a type 1. So I think that seems right.
Okay, I'm buying it. So this is going to be a type 2. This is going to be a blank. And we're going to put waiting out here, but I'm not sure we really need the waiting category because the waiting category is going to be part of type
I know.
2.
Exactly. It's going to be pretty useless. Yeah.
So I read this one out.
Yeah, you can read that out.
So somebody says something about this.
This is
So this is
nothing
you.
amazing. Yeah. Versus directly experience nothing, as in the blank above. Okay, good. So that makes me feel good about what we just decided for the 8.3.
And so what should we
So
put
this
in?
should be a 1 where 8.3 was a 2. I think that's right.
I'm buying it. All right, then the last beep. You say it's a half a type 1, and I say it's a type 1. And you also put a half 1 out here.
Well, your note in here, your track changes say that you have a different take. You think the expectant waiting is experienced, even though the content is not experienced, which would be a type 2. So maybe this is like a 1.5.
Yeah.
We obviously don't know.
So maybe what we should do is put a 0.5 here and a 0.5 here.
Yes, we've done that with other ones, yeah. Yeah, boy, she's got just a lot of nothing and a lot of sensory awareness, and that is about it.
Yeah.
Some words.
And anything else that we should be saying about the categories? Seems like we've got the category, the spectrum, we've got that about as well documented as we can do. If we had 50 more samples, we'd probably have something more to say about that, but not much.
Yep. I actually think that spectrum turned out in coding better than I thought it would. You know, we can say 21 of the 39 samples fell somewhere on the spectrum. The minority were in actual unsymbolized thinking, but most were a type 2 or a type 1 or somewhere in between those two.
Right.
That's, we have something to say about that. That's good.
So what we have in terms of accounting, 39 total, a third of them there are words involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta adjust the percentages line.
A little bit over a third is sensory awareness. 2/3 is on the spectrum. So yeah, I think. So when you say you need to adjust the percentages?
That line, oh, do you not have that? On mine, I see a row, it's my row 6 that calculates the percentages, and the denominator was wrong, but.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you were right. A third are words, 2/3 about are on the spectrum. Yeah. About a third are visual sensory awareness.
Okay.
Okay. Good deal.
Anything
So I should
else?
write something about this?
Yeah, if you can write that out, that'd be great.
Yeah, will do.